The ultimate Drake tier list. Today, I'm going to be going through all of Drake's studio albums, mixtapes, and we're going to be ranking them with this tier list that we have here. So without wasting any time, let's start this off with his very first mixtape way back in 2006 with Room for Improvement. This was his very first project, right? You can't expect much out of many people's very first mixtape. It's not likely that people drop a 1999 or a Live Love ASAP, and this is a case where it's inconsistent, it's rough. It is a blueprint to Drake's success, right? This wasn't like anything standout at all. We see his aspirations in this mixtape. We see his grind to get in the music industry, but there's really no highlights. And like I said, it's a debut mixtape. It's nothing crazy. It's gonna be a D tier mixtape. Not much to say about it, to be honest. He definitely had room for improvement. We're gonna move on to his second mixtape. The next year in 2007, we have Comeback Season, a very similar mixtape. It's kind of the same, like seeing his determination into the music industry, like his grind to get there, his aspirations, you know, moments of introspection with his struggles, kind of that same vibe of the first mixtape. It's a little more polished. You got some highlights. Looking at the track list here, Comeback Season was a solid song. You have Don't You Have a Man. Like, there's some pretty decent songs you can pick off of here, honestly, but it's not peak Drake by any means. It's not like terrible Drake. I don't know. I think it's another blueprint. It's a blueprint for everything else later on. This is him getting his like his touch. He's finding his sound. He's finding his vibes. He's developing. There's just not much overall to pull out of this, but it's gonna be D. It's gonna be another D tier mixtape. It's definitely better than Room for Improvement. He definitely improved a bit, but the second mixtape, another just bloated little, yeah, bloated. And then we move on to the first mixtape that was put on streaming platforms and was huge for Drake because he had Best I Ever Had, huge hit, So Far Gone. I ranked this really high in a blind ranking once. I put this like, what, 3 or 4 ranking mixtapes with like Nostalgia Ultra and Live Love ASAP and shit. So that's overrating the hell out of it, but I still like this. I think this is one of Drake's better projects. I think this is up there. The atmosphere of this mixtape's amazing. You got this late night, super atmospheric production throughout it, and it is all over the place. I can't lie. This is another, it's like his first 3 mixtapes develop more and more. Starts off bad, a little bit better, and then So Far Gone. It's definitely a building off of the same, like, inconsistencies. Like, you know, maybe he's just trying to create some hit songs, but guess what? He did with Best I Ever Had, and there's a lot of other stuff that you can pull off of here. For example, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas is honestly my favorite off of here. I mean, that production is super atmospheric and cool, and all of the songs off of here just give you that late night vibe, and it's like floating through listening to this. You got Let's Call It Off, Ignorant Shit with Lil Wayne. You got highlights on this thing. Now, I can't hold back like Unstoppable with Santa Gold. Garbage fucking song. Garbage. Beyond garbage song. You know, Sooner Than Later, The Calm. There is so many just bad songs on this. It's such a hit or miss project. Hit or miss. There's not even like middle ground. It's a huge hit or miss, but you know, it does have the middle ground tracks though. But I think it's a mid. I'll throw it in C. I'm not gonna. B is good. I think it's definitely mid. So inconsistent. It's a mixtape. He's throwing together a bunch of tracks. There's not a clear direction here, but he definitely hit on some of these songs, and it's definitely fun to go back to. So I'd say it's a C tier mixtape. And then I'm not gonna look at Young Money today. We're not gonna rank those compilation albums. We're gonna go to his debut album, Thank Me Later. And guess what? Once again today, let me pull up the track list here. To this moment, top 5 Drake. Thank Me Later is better than Scorpion. It's better than Her Loss. It's better than Views. Thank Me Later is so slept on, and no one will change my mind about that. It's not necessarily super cohesive, but this is his debut album, and he definitely took a huge step up from the big inconsistencies of his mixtapes. There is not a standout miss on this album. I don't really listen to Thank Me Now, the outro. You know, I don't really listen to like Light Up with Jay-Z. It's not a bad song though. So there's some songs I might not revisit that often, but there is not a miss on this album, honestly, looking at the track list. I guess you could say Shut It Down, but come on, man. Drake's vocals on that chorus are heavenly. Shut it down. It definitely drags, but it definitely drags a lot. This is like a 7 damn minute song. That does not need to be that long. But I'm nitpicking here. This is a good studio album. This is a good Drake album. This is one of my favorite Drake albums. I mean, come on. Pull Up Fireworks got those Alicia Keys vocals. Pull Up Over, one of his best pump-up pregame songs. Fancy, one of the best songs produced, beats he's rapped over. There's so many highlights on this thing. I am a Thank Me Later fan till I die, and people saying this is one of his weakest projects. I have tried to see why they think that, and the only thing I can see is it's not very direct. It's a little like, he doesn't have a clear direction, but dude, this is Drake we're talking about. He doesn't put together like big concept albums. There's not many albums where he has like a clear direction, and Thank Me Later, it's not that inconsistent. So like, I just don't see it. I don't see how people could think this is a bad album. I'm a big fan of Thank Me Later. I'm throwing this an A. This is an A tier Drake album. And then we have Drake's magnum opus, Take Care. I could just say S tier and move on because Take Care is an S tier. Take Care is one of the best albums I've heard. I mean, at first, it had to grow on me, surprisingly. I mean, I think back to that and it's like, how did this have to grow on me? This shit is beautiful, but it might have some misses, but the overall direction of this R&B Drake, and like, again, it's got that like So Far Gone late night atmospheric vibe, going into emotional pain and emotional struggles and love. I mean, listen to Marvin's Room. Like, this is an album that will forever stand out in the hip hop, R&B, whatever you want to call it, genre, because this has R&B, this has hip hop, this has all of it. But Drake's best album to date for sure. I see people saying nothing was the same, or if you're reading this, it's too late, and I can't argue that, but Take Care is, it's so good. It's so good. It's as simple as that. This shit is always going to be a part of me. I want to just go through the track list, because it's that good, but I'm not going to go through every song, but like, Over My Dead Body is a top 5 Drake song. Take Care with Rihanna. Crew Love with The Weeknd. Headlines. Lord Knows, amazing beat, and I mean, Rick Ross's feature is kind of funny, but it's not that bad. Underground Kings, Marvin's Room. I could go on and on. Doing It Wrong, The Real Her. This is a peak album, and it's special. This was special. I love it. This is going to be an S tier album for Drake. Now we got Nothing Was the Same, another album where people think it's his best. And I can say from a video I made a while ago where I said it's inconsistent, I feel like it's growing on me more. I don't know why after all these years, but I like this album. There's so many highlights, and I still think there's misses. Like Own It, I'll never understand Own It. That's such a garbage song. It sounds like a literal recycle of Wu-Tang Forever. And then I do have some kind of crazy takes that a lot of people would say. So like Worst Behavior, it's not a bad song, but I just don't find the chorus catchy. I don't like his voice on the chorus. Connect, 305 to My City. Not the biggest fan of those songs, but on the other hand, we have Hold On We're Going Home. This might be one of those pop hits where if you say this is your favorite Drake song, people are gonna be like, uncultured, basic pick, but it's so I can't describe how this song makes me feel. The nostalgia I feel from it. The chorus, this could be Drake's best chorus of all time. That's how good it is. It's a legendary song from Time with Jhené Aiko. Tuscan Leather. Between that and Over My Dead Body, you could argue that to be his best intro track of all time, but I'm not putting it above Over My Dead Body. Furthest Thing, Started From the Bottom is a great song. I will not be a hater of that song ever. Another like Drake stands that take, you know, some of his popular songs to like a different level. Like, oh, if you like this mainstream song, you don't know music. I hate that. Started From the Bottom is legendary. That's a pump up song. That's great. And then Too Much with Sampha. That's catchy. Pound Cake. Pound Cake's amazing. That song grew on me a lot. It used to be a drag, but oh wow, that production is beautiful and his flow on it is nice. This is an amazing Drake album. Amazing Drake album. It's going to be A tier. And before I move on, actually, it is like his most focused project as well. I mean, it's not super bloated. It's not like he threw 30 tracks together like he started to do later on in his career, even if I think it has a few misses, but it's not like bloated. It keeps the same direction of reflecting on Drake's evolution, kind of how Thank Me Later was the introduction to his fame. Nothing Was the Same was like going through that and dealing with fame and his personal growth and stuff. Like, it keeps that same idea and vibe throughout the project. It is probably his most focused project to date. And then we have his mixtape. If you're reading this, it's too late. We have another fan favorite, and this is the best rapping of Drake's career. I mean, he went on this thing with energy, the most focus, the most passion in his rapping. This is legendary. This is more peak Drake. This is his run of, you know, his rise as an artist and where he just dropped the best music in his career. I love this. I love this, and I'm thinking on putting this in S right now, but it's hard. I don't think it's necessarily S because I don't think it's like Take Care, but I want to put it A, but I feel like I'm gonna regret that. I don't know. I don't know. Looking at If You're Reading This Is Too Late, though, obviously, like I said, he dropped this mixtape, and it's a huge love letter to Toronto, right? And he's rapping ridiculous about his feeling. I always take song to pull up this track list. You know, he's looking at his feelings, and he's like building off of Take Care, like, and Nothing Was the Same. Instead of being like depressing, he's rapping this shit out with his heart, and I love that about it. Pull up 6 p.m. in New York. I don't see this song talked about much. When we look at If You're Reading This Is Too Late, we're gonna hear Jungle, we're gonna hear Energy, we're gonna hear Know Yourself. Those are the songs we're gonna hear about. I don't hear stuff about this 6 p.m. in New York. I think this is top 10 Drake. This is one of the best flows he's ever had. The most catchy rapping and amazing verses and rhyming on this song with an amazing atmospheric beat. 6 p.m. in New York is fucking peak. Sorry, I just can't get how I don't hear anything about this song ever. I don't understand. What? This is the best on If You're Reading This Is Too Late. Over Jungle? Yes. Yes, maybe not, but if it's not, it's number 2 then. 6 p.m. in New York is so fucking good. I can't get over that song. But anyway, this is an amazing mixtape. If we're looking all time, obviously it's not an S tier project, but if we're looking at Drake's catalog specifically, it's S tier. I'm throwing If You're Reading This Is Too Late in the S tier. And then in the same year, we had this crazy run by Drake and Future that year. We have What a Time to Be Alive, the mixtape with Future and Drake. Pull up the track list. This was the first Drake project that I kind of like, not necessarily got bored, but it's kind of just very one-dimensional. It's just a mixtape of super high energy trap songs, and it didn't stick with me as much as If You're Reading This Is Too Late was. Maybe that's why, coming off of If You're Reading This It's Too Late, coming off of a career classic for Drake, I have high expectations. But there's stuff to pull off of here. Digital Dash, 30 for 30 freestyle. My favorite off of here is still Jumpman, another big hit and like a popular song, but it's hard to top that song for me. I grew up like throughout high school and middle school even listening to the song pregame for like sports and stuff. Like I have been a huge fan of the song and the production, just the high vibe and energy of that song. So that really is my favorite still, whether it's the most popular or whatever. That's my most favorite. But this is just a mixtape of high energy verses exchanged between Future and Drake. And it might be really one-dimensional. It might just be that straightforward, but got some vibes to it. You got some standouts. It's not necessarily bad or mid. It's gonna go beats here. This is a good mixtape. And then we move on to Views, which is probably gonna be my most controversial take in this video. I posted a video about it on TikTok and got so much slander. I don't understand Views. I can't understand how we'll glaze a bloated album like this, but then we can't give the praise to fucking Thank Me Later. I still think right now, Views is boring. Views is boring. It's such a long, like 20-song album. And in the middle, you got a lot of big highlights at the top of it, like 9, Feel No Ways. I mean, even You With Me, but like, like between the middle of the album, it's bloat. It's a bunch of bloat songs that were kind of just lazy, not lazy ideas, but like Drake didn't have many ideas. He's building off of stuff he's already done, and he's just trying to make hits, and then he throws them in, kind of some weak lyrics. I mean, this isn't like If You're Reading This Is Too Late rapping standard. This isn't Take Care, like depth, emotional depth and R&B level. Like it's a lot of hits. It's relying on a lot of hits to push it up. Like Hotline Bling is an absolute classic for my life. That's a summer anthem, and it's a song that I'll always love. It's super catchy, but like when we're looking outside of that, in the Views title track also, the Views title track is an amazing produced song, an amazing flow. Feel No Ways, you got those highlights, but like when I look in the middle of the track list, I used to like Controlla. Controlla is a little catchy production, but it's corny. The lyrics don't stand out to me. Still Here, Faithful, With You. I mean, there's just so much bloat on here. And that's kind of the thing. This just does not have a clear direction at all. Drake doesn't have a clear direction with this project. He go from like a mainstream, like a radio pop song, to trying to rap, to trying to have R&B. And like the ideas and the emotions are all over the place. There's no clear direction with this. It almost feels like a mixtape in that fashion. Like his first 3 career mixtapes, but Views was always mid to me. It was always mid to me. I've gone back to it so many times. I want it to grow on me. I want to, because listen, songs like Hotline Bling and there's Feel No Ways, this album is nostalgic for me, but the rest of it, I can't be a fan of it. I can't give this an overall good grade as an album, as much as I want to love it and be on that same like trend of people who love Views and like Drake fans, but I can't do it. I can't. I will always, maybe not always, but I think it's mid. I think it's inconsistent and bloated, basic, boring. It's gonna go C. It's mid. And then we have More Life, which is like a playlist or mixtape, which is why I am going to praise this for what I discredited Views. How, you know, you got like trap, like high energy songs, you got chill R&B songs. That's, you get everything out of this little playlist by Drake, but that's the difference. This is a mixtape or a playlist, however you want to call it. This is not a studio album. A studio album gotta have a clear direction. It can't just be a bunch of playlist songs thrown and jumbled. So More Life, having this different, like, so many different vibes and idea songs and executions on this playlist, it makes you fall in love with it. More Life is one of Drake's better projects. Again, this has so many highlights. Passion Fruit, again, this is a classic for my life and a summer anthem. It could be a winter anthem, but I feel this as a summer song. Passion Fruit is just such a great song. It makes you want to cry tears. It's nostalgic. It's so beautiful. Nothing's Into Somethings. This is a little short song that, you know, I don't hear much about it. It's short, but that shit's majestic. You got Teenage Fever. You got Do Not Disturb. Besides Pound Cake, 6 p.m. in New York could be his best outro track. Fake Love, like, you got a lot of highlights on this. He's throwing together a bunch of different types of songs and kind of just to provide for the fans. But it's got its inconsistencies. Like, it's over 20 songs. It's got a lot of misses. Let me look at the track list here. I'm not a fan of like Blem or Madiba or Rubum, blah 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 blah. He tries a lot of different stuff on this album, which is gonna make more misses, obviously, but a lot of that is just kind of personal standpoint. He has a lot of outstanding stuff on this, a lot of standout stuff on this playlist. It's fun to go back to. I think overall we can throw this in the B for More Life. And then we move on to Scorpion, which is one of the worst album experiences I have. It's so long, so boring. Oh my gosh. This is a bloated album. This is, you know, I talked about Views being bloated, but this is when Drake takes it to another notch. I mean, from the first songs in, it is just bloat songs, like songs that remind you, if you're gonna look at a bloated album, the first 3 tracks on this album remind you of just those like outsider songs. I mean, Nonstop was a hit. Never was a fan of that song. It's the most basic production. It's not catchy. Elevate, Emotionless. There's so much bloat after bloat after bloat. I thought this album was nostalgic for me because of God's Plan, right? Or God's Plan, Nice for What, I'm Upset. Some of them, you know, are nostalgic for me, but especially God's Plan. But as the album overall, I never went back to this as a whole. Look at the second disc. It's garbage. It's really garbage. And then, like I said, the first disc, it's miss after miss with, you know, Sandra's Rose and God's Plan. That's about it. And then I'm Upset. I found that to be a really catchy song. I actually do like that, even though it's kind of just overall, what is that song? But Scorpion, I hated this album. I hated it, and I still hate it. I still hate it. It's unbelievably, painfully boring to my brain. This makes Views an S tier album, but Scorpion, this could be D. This could be a bad album. I'm trying to think about if this should be C as mid, but I don't know if it's even that good. I don't like this shit at all. Yeah, I'm gonna go D. I'm gonna go D for Scorpion. And then we have Care Package. We got a compilation of featured tracks from Drake that were unreleased. He kind of just puts together another like More Life type of vibe here. Just another playlist for his fans and kind of a lot of similar, like I said, they're songs that were unreleased. So it's gonna go through like recycled themes, you know, talking about his success or love, whatever it is. This is when Drake starts to just kind of repeat those themes of love, but you got highlights on here for sure. I have always gone back to 5 a.m. in Toronto. I mean, his flow and rapping on that song is like, it gives you the vibes of 6 p.m. in New York for me. I think that's a great song. I could go to songs like Club Paradise. I could go to like Draft Day. I mean, there's a J. Cole. J. Cole has a feature on Jodeci Freestyle, however the fuck you say it. 4 p.m. in Calabasas. I mean, like, got some hits. It's got some hits. There's some stuff to definitely go back to. Oh yeah, the emotion with Sampha as well. Oh man, actually, now that I'm looking at this track list, there might be more hits on this thing than misses. I might have been wrong about this. Hold up. I was going into this saying this is going to be thrown in mid just because he's just throwing a compilation of unreleased tracks. But there's really more hits in here than misses, honestly. Man, I think this can be C. I think we're gonna have to throw this in mid. I do think there's a lot of hits on here, though. Dark Lane demo tapes, we're gonna have Love again. Love, Heartbreak. Drake is going through it. Like I said, this is just the point of his career where I kind of got tired of his music because he was never reinventing anything. He was never bringing anything new to the table. He kept on talking about heartbreak over and over and over and over. But what I do like about Dark Lane demo tapes is it's not like a Scorpion where it's just like minimalist production, boring flows. It has a vibe. At least Dark Lane demo tapes has like that late night aesthetic. Not You 2 with Chris Brown. That's an amazing song. Chicago Freestyle. There's a lot of atmospheric production on here that makes a lot of songs catchy. But overall, Drake did not have many highlights on this. He didn't bring a lot to the table. And I mean, I would only ever go back to this currently for Not You 2. That's the only song I really be going back to. But overall, this was kind of just, yeah, it was a lot of tracks that kind of feel like leftovers, and then he turned it into a project, keeping that like atmospheric vibe. Just a lot of repeated ideas and weak flows by Drake, weak R&B songs by Drake. I was never a big fan of it, but at least it's not like Scorpion level bad. So I do think this is a D tier mixtape. I do think it's a D tier mixtape, but I feel like I do like it better than Scorpion. We're gonna have to go D though. I'm gonna go D for this. And now we have Certified Lover Boy. This is where we are at the low of Drake's career. A lot of people will say, why do you hate CLB so much? It has standouts. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It does not. I never pulled anything off of here besides Champagne Poetry. I think this is a literal album of like, if he was creating like Nothing Was the Same. I'm not saying it's leftovers from Nothing Was the Same. I'm saying if he created an album a few years ago, like Scorpion, for example, or something, and he had a bunch of leftovers from that didn't make the album, he grabbed those, threw it on this fucking CLB shit, and then called it an album. This is such a lazy album. It is the most snooze album that you can hear in rap. The most boring production, the most lazy and ridiculous concepts, bad writing. It does not offer anything. It doesn't offer anything. And then people jump to the assumption that I hate Drake just because I don't like CLB. Are we dead ass? But yeah, that's about all I have to say. I didn't get anything off of this. I didn't like the production on much shit. I didn't like any of the lazy ideas or executions. The whole love and heartbreak, same shit. I did not like this album, and the replay value sucks. What do you have? What else? What else is there? What else is there? I don't know. I can't talk anymore. It's a D tier album. It's one of his worst. Okay, I'm gonna have to add this in. Reconsidering the albums we have in D tier, Scorpion's going to C. We're putting Scorpion in mid. I was too harsh. We're looking at his first two mixtapes. We're looking at CLB. Scorpion is out of place. Scorpion is not that bad. So I'm going to bump that up to C. I was too harsh on that. We got to rearrange this a bit. I mean, I swear I can talk more positive about Honestly Nevermind. I don't think this is as bad as the media, you know, put it out on... I can't talk. I don't think that this is as bad as the media portrayed it to be. I found a lot of stuff on here catchy. Now, does that mean this whole execution and idea of house party, EDM, pop, whatever you want to call it, music, the whole execution of this album was it good? No, the hell it wasn't. And Drake had a lot of shitty vocals on this thing. This was bad. But I'm just saying, Sticky and Massive were two vibe songs that I never hated that much. And they're nice late night songs. They're nice little vibes. You can take those off the album. You can't take shit off of CLB. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's still not a good album. It was still another like, oh, Drake is really heartbroken. How old is this dude? And he's still doing this shit over and over. It's recycled, but at least he turned it into a different style. But the style was not good. This was I don't want to say disaster. I'm not that low on it, to be honest. But it was pretty bad. it was pretty bad nonetheless. It's gonna go D. But then you have Jimmy Cooks at the end, which is like, just takes away from the whole fucking idea of this album because Drake wants his little hit song. But also, that's until he drops his next album with 21 Savage, Her Loss. And it's like, wow, this is like a little transition into this. I never liked this album. I honestly, a lot of people said like this is one of Drake's better projects. I never liked it, but it reminds me of What a Time to Be Alive, him and Future, like that energy, because this is another mixtape of just like talking about their success, keeping that high energy. They're exchanging verses, and you know, it's definitely one of the better outputs of Drake recently. I don't think it was the best project overall. I never revisited it that much, but a lot of better songs than anything off of Certified Lover Boy, or honestly, never mind. Drake definitely takes a step up after being in a little low. So I could throw this in the C tier. I don't think it was a huge album. I think I can respect it if you want to throw it in like B, but me personally, I still think it's like a C tier album. And then we have For All the Dogs. This is like a CLB 2.0, man. It's another album of just like below. It's like bloat. Grab bloat tracks, throw it on here, and call it a project. Why are we being so lazy, Drake? But at least this has better songs. It's like the same like love, success. Again, he does not bring anything new to the table. This was the point where like Drake died on me. Anything I ever went to Drake for was his old music, and this is when, you know, this is why people think I'm a Drake hater, because I talk so bad about his recent albums. But this is lazy. This is lazy, and it's just recycling themes and songs and flows over and over. Anyway, though, you got a SZA feature on here. You got a J. Cole feature on here, First Person Shooter. You got Virginia Beach. You do have some highlights at least, but overall, this was like another not a very clear direction, and just all over the place, very unenjoyable and bland in a lot of moments. So it's gonna be another D tier album, but at least we had First Person Shooter. That's what I can say. And then we have his latest album, Some Sexy Songs for You, with Party Next Door. I made a full video on this talking about how bad this album is and how it may genuinely be his worst album, because I already talked about everything. So basically everything I'm about to say is a repeat of that video if you want to go check that out. But for an R&B project, you want those peak R&B hits that Drake has done before, and all you get is a bunch of lazy garbage vocals and garbage production and a bunch of that like bachelor lifestyle with Drake and P&D, with them being horny and hooking up with a woman. And it's like, what the hell was the concept of this? Why would y'all do this? Now me, I've never even liked Party Next Door, because that's all I get out of his music anyway. This dude is like the horniest man you could ever see. I feel like that's all you ever get out of his R&B music, but it's just frustrating because Drake had Die Trying on this album, which is actually catchy. And he had other songs like, what, Give Me a Hug. At least he had like some flows, but he could have a better project. Why is this just a bunch of bloat when he can put those hits together? He can drop a Nokia or something. Why can't we have a whole album of this? Why do we just always have bloat after lazy, like, oh, we just go in the studio, make a song in 10 minutes, we'll throw it on the album type of songs? Why can't we ever have a focused album? Some Sexy Songs for You is one of the weakest and boring projects of this 2025 year so far. It's D tier. I have nothing else to say about it. I already made my full video criticizing this album, but it was lazy. It was bad. This is not a good album. It's D tier. But that's going to sum up this video, the ultimate tier list for Drake and all of his studio projects. Let me know how y'all feel about this video. What is your favorite Drake project? How would you change this tier list? And I think we can go and pray for old Drake to magically come back every day. But that sums it up. That's all I gotta say. Appreciate y'all for watching.